I'm Corbitt Wall with USDA Livestock and Grain Market News, reporting here at the American Angus Association for CattleNetwork.com with your weekly feeder cattle market report. This week, for the week ending January the 14th, we had feeder calves and your lighter weight stocker or growing calves all selling firm to $4 higher. We don't really have any true yearling cattle right now, as most of our calves are born in the early spring and we're not quite there yet. So we've got old crop calves, we got new crop calves, and then middle weights and right in there, but pretty much all selling firm to $4 higher. Your feedlot replacements, your heavier calves going right on to feed, they sold pretty well steady to $2 higher early in the week, and then mid to late week kind of put on a couple more dollars there and ended the week firm to $4 higher. But on your lighter weight calves, especially on your little featherweight and flyweight calves, they're under 400 pounds. A lot of these were lower there early in the week, and everybody was worried about the storm coming in and just hitting spots there right early in the week and how bad it was going to get. And then they just thought the calves may have been getting too high, these lightweights, and several markets called these lightweight calves lower early in the week, and some quite a bit lower, like Joplin had their calves under 400 pounds as much as $10 lower, which sounds horrible, but when you think it just means that the little peewee steer brings 150 instead of 160, then it doesn't sound quite so bad. But midweek and then later in the week, after this storm kind of blew on through, and then when your futures markets really pepped up there middle of the week, then your calves come right back on, and the buyers started buying those things just like they have been for the past 2 or 3 months. They just kept pushing these record prices higher and higher, and we had some record prices at mid and late week. So those markets on the lighter weight calves all come on middle of the week and on. So but the winter storm was the big thing this week, and it did pressure those lighter weight calves, and it pretty much hit the whole United States. Saw where Florida was the only state in the union that didn't have snow measured. So, but from the middle part of Oklahoma all the way north, there's snow covering the ground all over the country, and then it kind of went down and swooped through the southeast and it really hammered the southeast. We didn't have the damaging ice storms that we've had in the past, but they did have some measurable amounts from 4 to 10 inches, a lot of places of snow and ice, and those areas are down there just not prepared to remove that from the road. So most of your sale barns were shut down in that area. The ones that were open didn't get enough receipts really to test the market, and those shippers and order buyers that like to buy those cattle were not going to be able to get them out. So it just kind of really interrupted service there in the southeast. But all your ag commodities were quite a bit higher, sharply higher this week, and a lot of them are at record highs, especially for this time of year. This is not the time of year where we have usually your record prices, but right now we do have high prices, and a lot of them are at or near records, and I'm talking about all your grain commodities and livestock, hogs. And your Wednesday, USDA adjusted the corn crop down again, 152.8 bushels, average bushels to the acre. They've just cranked this thing down and down. Now we're into 2011. We're still adjusting down the 2010 corn crop. Now we're 10 bushels, full 10 bushels per acre lower than what they started out projecting this when September came. We got ready to start harvesting. But now your total crop for 2010 corn crop was at 645 million bushels. That's 5% lower than 2009, and just got a lot of uses for corn. Your big push for ethanol as the oil starts getting higher, and we're worried about the fuel prices. A lot of export demand, a lot of global demand for corn, and there's just not as much corn around to feed as there used to be. 10 years ago, over half of our U.S. corn crop was fed to livestock, and now we're down to 37%. So a portion of that has been filled in by byproducts, distillers products, either DDGs or a wet gluten product, but some kind of a byproduct of the ethanol plants. And but the market on that has gone up considerable now because grain has gotten so high Now you can take those byproducts, and there's enough demand for them that you can put freight and handling fees on them and still get them sold. And so people are using those for feed a long ways from the ethanol plants, and it's really put a bind on these Midwest feeders that used to get that stuff for free because they were close enough to go in there and haul it off. But so all of our input prices on feeding cattle has gone up. Luckily, the fat cattle market has stayed high this week. Fat sold 150 to 250 higher, from 106.5 to 108. We just got high markets. Feeder cattle markets were higher up again. We noted how bad the storm was on the southeastern parts of the United States, but up in the Midwest and the mountain regions, it snows and gets cold just about this time every year, and most everybody was ready for it. In Colorado, got the National Western Stock Show going on right now. A lot of the auction markets in that part of the country are having stock show specials. At the Winter Livestock in La Junta, Colorado, this Tuesday, they had a lot of good cattle there, and the market was sharply higher on calves. Had several consignments of calves in there that were noted in thin condition, and that's buyers are always looking for that, but more so now, so they can get a cheap gain on them and try to cheapen those cattle up a little bit. But they had a load of thin steers, weighed 432, bring 181. That's a big price. Had a heavy load, over 50,000 pounds of 502-pound steers, bring $1.61, and a short load of 611-pound steers at 140. So those are big prices there. And your regional weighted averages from all the markets, auction markets that we report in the north central states, 7 to 8 weight steer this week cost you $126.74 compared to $124.92 last week and $98.08 a year ago. South Central States, a 7 weight steer, $124.17 compared to $122.13 last week and $95.62 a year ago. And in the Southeast, a 6 weight steer, 6 to 700 pound steer, cost you $119.13 this week compared to $116.99 last week and $90.13 a year ago this week. So that wraps up your cattle markets for this week. Check out our website for more market information at marketnews.usda.gov. From the Regional Market News Office in St. Joel, Missouri, we'll talk to you next week.